The Galactic Confederation had classification systems for everything. Planets were no exception. Class 5 meant paradise, perfect atmosphere, mild climate, abundant resources. Class 1 meant challenging but habitable with protective equipment. Class 0 meant certain death. Nobody visited Class 0 worlds. Nobody except humans. Commander Tom Ellis stood on the bridge of the diplomatic vessel Tenacity, staring at the rust-colored planet through the view screen. Its atmosphere swirled with toxic gases, and surface temperatures fluctuated between boiling and freezing within hours. Lightning storms covered half the hemisphere. "Remind me why we're here?" asked Lieutenant Reed, the ship's xenobiologist. "Because," Ellis replied, "the Confederation Council said it was impossible, and humans have a genetic predisposition to ignore warnings." The Tenacity had been dispatched after Earth's acceptance into the Galactic Confederation revealed a troubling fact. Humanity had evolved on what other species would classify as a Class 0 Deathworld. This made humans uniquely resilient compared to the delicate physiology of most spacefaring species. "Incoming transmission from the Council ship," announced Communications Officer Davis. The view screen shifted to show Ambassador Krell, a spindly being with translucent skin through which complex circulatory fluids flowed in mesmerizing patterns. Like all Council races, Krell required constant environmental controls to survive outside their homeworld. "Commander Ellis," the ambassador's translator conveyed, "we strongly advise against this landing mission. Our sensors confirm extreme conditions worse than initially reported. No Confederation member has ever conducted ground operations on a Class 0 world." Ellis nodded respectfully. "We appreciate your concern, Ambassador, but our analysis suggests conditions similar to Earth's Death Valley during a sandstorm. Uncomfortable but manageable with standard equipment." What Ellis didn't add was that Earth's government saw tremendous political and economic advantage in demonstrating human resilience. If humans could operate where no other species could, it opened up resource acquisition opportunities across thousands of previously untouchable worlds. "Your funeral," the ambassador replied, using a recently learned human idiom with disturbing accuracy. 6 hours later, Ellis led the landing team as they stepped from the shuttle onto the surface of Proxima Centauri b. The ground crunched beneath their boots, a mixture of jagged rock fragments and metallic sand. Wind howled around them at nearly 200 kilometers per hour, but their reinforced environmental suits held firm. "Gravity 1.3 Earth standard," reported Security Chief Martinez. "Temperature outside, 63 degrees Celsius. Air composition primarily. Sulfur compounds with trace oxygen. Radiation levels elevated but within tolerance for short exposure." Ellis gazed across the hellscape. "Let's collect samples and set up the monitoring station. We have 2 hours before the storm front hits." The team worked methodically, drilling core samples and deploying autonomous sensors. For humans accustomed to Earth's varied environments, the conditions were harsh but manageable. What they hadn't counted on was the planet's unique electromagnetic field. 90 minutes into the mission, their equipment began failing. First communications, then environmental regulators. The metallic particles in the atmosphere conducted electricity in ways their simulations hadn't predicted. "Everyone back to the shuttle," Ellis ordered as his suit's cooling system fluctuated. They were halfway there when the ground trembled. Not a simple quake, something more fundamental. The metallic sand beneath their feet began to shift, flowing, like liquid. "It's alive," shouted Reed, her scanner displaying impossible readings before shorting out. The sand was actually a colony organism, billions of microscopic metallic creatures that used the planet's electromagnetic field for communication and movement. And the humans had just disturbed their hibernation cycle. The colony surged, forming a wave that crashed against Martinez, enveloping him instantly. His screams cut off as the creatures infiltrated his suit, searching for nutrients and water they hadn't encountered in millennia. "Run!" Ellis shouted, firing his plasma cutter to create a temporary barrier of superheated air. Only Ellis, Reed, and Technician Powell reached the shuttle. As they fought to take off in the increasingly violent electromagnetic storm, they watched in horror as the colony organism consumed their equipment and their fallen comrade, incorporating the components into its collective intelligence. From orbit, Ambassador Krell and the Council representatives observed the disaster unfolding. "The humans have awakened something ancient," whispered the Council's senior biologist. "Something we detected but could not identify. This is why Class 0 worlds are forbidden." When the shuttle finally docked with the Tenacity, Ellis emerged, covered in metallic dust that had penetrated even their sealed craft. Medical scanners revealed microscopic particles had infiltrated their bloodstreams. "Quarantine protocols," Ellis ordered weakly before collapsing. 3 days later, against all expectations, the humans recovered. The colony organisms, instead of consuming them, had reached an equilibrium within their bodies. Advanced blood filtration would have removed them, but the research team made a different choice. "We're keeping them," Reed explained to the horrified council delegation. "They've adapted to use our body chemistry as a power source, and in exchange they're enhancing our cellular repair capabilities. They've effectively become symbiotes." Ambassador Krell's translator struggled to convey the mixture of disgust and fascination in the alien's response. "You humans deliberately maintain parasitic invaders in your systems, after they killed your colleague?" "We prefer to think of them as our new microbiome," Ellis said, watching the metallic sheen move subtly beneath his skin. "And yes, we mourn Martinez, but his sacrifice revealed something extraordinary. The Council declared Proxima Centauri B permanently quarantined. They also insisted on extended observation of the affected humans before allowing them back to Earth or any civilized world. What they didn't realize was that humanity's encounter with the Class 0 Deathworld wasn't a disaster. It was the beginning of a transformation. The symbiotic relationship would eventually allow humans to survive in environments no other species could approach. Within a generation, humanity would become the Confederation's most valuable crisis responders and explorers. The Galactic Confederation had classification systems for everything. After humanity's disaster, they created a new designation specifically for Earth and its inhabitants: Class X, approach with caution.